Just at noon, just 2 weeks after announcing his retirement from public office, former state representative Gene Ward passed away this morning at the age of 82. The veteran lawmaker, who has represented East Honolulu for nearly 3 decades, decided to step away from politics because of recent health setbacks, including a pneumonia diagnosis. His last day in office was March 31st. In a statement, Ward's family said, quote, "We want to thank the community for the abundance of prayers and kind thoughts. He did what he loved most, serving others, until the end. We will miss him, but he will forever live in our hearts." Governor Josh Green has ordered the U.S. and Hawaii state flags to be flown at half-staff at the state capitol and all state offices and agencies, as well as the Hawaii National Guard, today until sunset on Monday, April 7th. Green said in a statement that Hawaii has lost a dedicated leader, but his legacy will continue to inspire us. President Trump says his move to put tariffs on all imported goods will result in a rebuilt economy where items are made and purchased in America. But investors appear weary of the claims and stocks plunged for another day. The Fed chief is now also saying new taxes have the potential to do long-term harm to the economy. Erica Brown has more from Capitol Hill.
Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell says President Trump's sweeping new tariffs run the risk of long-term pain for the economy.
It is now becoming clear that tariff increases will be significantly larger than expected. And the same is likely to be true of the economic effects, which will include higher inflation and slower growth.
Earlier Friday, Trump took to social media, urging Powell to cut interest rates and stop playing politics. Powell says the Fed needs more data on the tariffs' impact before making a move.
We're well positioned to wait for greater clarity before considering any adjustments to our policy stance.
The Fed says it will be monitoring how other countries respond to Trump's tariffs. On Friday, China announced a 34% retaliatory tariff on all American products. The markets tumbled for the second day with the news of the retaliatory tariffs against the U.S., but administration officials insist a rebound will come as American manufacturing is restored.
Markets are crashing because markets are based on the stock value of companies who today are embedded in modes of production that are bad for the United States.
President Trump says he's open to negotiating with trade partners and spoke with the leader of Vietnam, where many American companies manufacture shoes, apparel, electronics, and other products. Trump says Vietnam wants to cut their tariffs down to zero if they are able to make an agreement with the U.S. Erica Brown, Hawaii News Now.
Meanwhile, Hawaii has joined a coalition of 19 other states filing a lawsuit against the Trump administration's executive order that requires people to show proof of citizenship when they register to vote, among other changes. Now, the lawsuit claims the president has no constitutional power to rewrite state election laws or modify the rules Congress created. Hawaii Attorney General Ann Lopez says the order would interfere with the lawful exercise of the right to vote. Police departments in all 4 counties in Hawaii have agreements with a federal agency that's become more active in immigration raids. According to Honolulu Civil Beat, the departments have agreements with the Homeland Security Investigations, which is a unit of the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, or ICE. Civil Beat found the Hawaii and Maui County agreements formalize the embedding of HSI special agents in the departments. The Hawaii Police Department says their agreement helps them fight crimes that cross county borders and that they are not interested in immigration enforcement operations. A man was injured in a stabbing in Iwilei last night. Honolulu police say the 37-year-old man was stabbed in the torso after he got into an argument with another man. EMS treated him for serious injuries and took him to a hospital. Police say the suspect was arrested near the scene. The 52-year-old man is in police custody. A drug dealer was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison for giving cocaine to a Hawaii Marine who fatally overdosed back in 2023. Rayshawn Ducos pleaded guilty to possession with intent to distribute and carrying guns during trafficking. The 27-year-old admitted to flushing cocaine down his toilet when officers searched his home in Waikiki days after the Marine's death. The Marine, Adele Anderson Jr., was 25 years old and stationed in Kaneohe. Former prosecutor turned TV host Nancy Grace is digging into the case of a Maui doctor accused of trying to kill his wife. Mahealani Richardson has an exclusive interview on why the case has captured national headlines.
The wife of a beloved doctor faces death at a sheer cliff's edge on a romantic getaway. Good evening, I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories.
Television host Nancy Grace, known for her fiery personality, a victims' rights advocate and former prosecutor, dedicated her show today to the case of a Maui anesthesiologist, Gerhard Koenig, accused of trying to kill his wife, Ariel, on a Pali cliff.
It's my duty as a crime victim and an honor to speak out on her behalf.
What was your reaction when you heard about this case?
I immediately honed in on the fact that the so-called good doctor brought with him at least one syringe, but he almost got away with it. He drags his wife to celebrate her birthday up to this sheer cliff. He also bashed her in the face and the skull with a rock. I believe it was a miracle that at that moment, hikers happened to come along on this very isolated and treacherous trail.
Nancy, why do you think this case has captured national and international attention?
Well, I think the dichotomy of what people see on the outside. Everyone said, oh, it was such a loving home. It's the Hallmark movie. It's the ad. It's the poster for a loving home.
Only Hawaii News Now was there as Koenig was booked and appeared to shield his face with a piece of paper.
This is a moment of humiliation, embarrassment, and maybe even shame.
Legal analyst Philip Dubé is a former Los Angeles County public defender and prosecutor.
He could actually say, I never intended to kill her.
Dubé spoke about the public's fascination with the case.
And it's so uncharacteristic to hear about such violence in such a glorious, exotic, picturesque location. Beauty, wealth, success, affluence, all of that is so intriguing.
Koenig is scheduled to enter a plea in court on Monday.
That episode of Crime Stories with Nancy Grace is on Dr. Phil's Merit TV. You can also find our interview with her on our website.
Mahealani Richardson, Hawaii News Now.
The state is warning the public of a new scam involving imposters going door to door. The fraudsters are apparently claiming to be salespeople from the state Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority and Green Energy Money Saver program. Officials say they're using aggressive sales tactics trying to get people to buy solar systems. The state is reminding residents that employees do not sell solar systems and don't use cold calls or door knocks to explain financing packages. If you do encounter these imposters, contact the number or email on your screen. Outdoor dining will continue to be a part of Honolulu's dining scene. Mayor Blangiardi signed Bill 1 into law today, making the city's outdoor dining program permanent. The program was launched as a pilot back in 2022. It authorizes eateries to set up tables on public sidewalks, pedestrian malls, parks, and playgrounds. Restaurants will have to apply for 1-year revocable permits. Well, a sliver of parkland on the edge of Chinatown could someday hold a high-rise. Ben Gutierrez says the mayor himself is leading the charge to win over the community.
It's not often that the Honolulu mayor shows up at a neighborhood board meeting, and when he does, you know there's a big announcement coming. Residents at the downtown Chinatown neighborhood board meeting were given a brochure from the city with the title, A New Beginning at 130 South Beretania, the address of Kamali'i Park. And many don't want that beginning to start.
Save Kamali'i Park.
Yeah, we hear you on that.
The mini park is a 0.7-acre triangle between Pali Highway, 4th Street, and South Beretania. The city says it has gone unused and underutilized for decades. Mayor Blangiardi says the city reached out to repurpose the site.
And with developers, we've had an overwhelming response by developers, turning into what we believe will be more than 2,000 units of housing in the urban core, which we desperately needed, new affordable housing.
Neighbors say it should remain a park that serves as an entry to the downtown and Chinatown areas.
If the city decides to build, on that space, then what you're doing is putting up a nice big condo and taking away the entryway.
Blangiardi tried to quell concerns, saying that building affordable housing on the land is just an idea.
That park happens to be a piece of land, as I said, that was conveyed some time ago without purpose. If we end up defining that that is the best and highest purpose, that's what it will be.
There's no plan. We're not trying to, bamboozle the neighborhood. We're not trying to do something that's sneaky. We haven't signed any agreements with anybody.
In 2019, the City Council passed a resolution to remove Kamali'i from the city's parks inventory because of high crime numbers and homeless people. Residents say those problems have decreased since then, but signs put up by the city make clear that the park is not a place to hang out, and the grass is dying because the sprinkler system isn't working. But if the city does redevelop the park, it will take some time and public input.
If we selected a developer to redevelop Kamali'i Mini Park, it's a long process. It's at least a 3 to 4 year process.
It's always easier, much easier to kill a project than it is to actually get something passed. And there will be many opportunities to kill this project.
Ben Gutierrez, Hawaii News Now.
How's it on this Aloha Friday? The winds will be getting stronger today. So even though it's going to be a little hazy this morning, that should be, the volcanic haze should be gone by this afternoon. And for a long stretch, we'll have these breezy winds. It is going to be cloudy today, though, with a few light scattered showers, mainly for Kauai and Oahu. And heads up, we got a big swell on the way. It's going to be pretty big today, later in the afternoon. But an even bigger swell is due over the weekend. High surf alerts will likely be posted very soon.
Now, President Trump extends TikTok's sell or shut down deadline again. The latest on the efforts to buy the popular social media platform. Foodies, get ready. Restaurant Week is returning to the international marketplace. We're going to head to Waikiki to see what's on the menus in 2 minutes. President Trump is granting another extension for TikTok to find a new buyer or face a ban in the U.S. The president says he's signing an executive order to keep the popular social media platform up and running for an additional 75 days as the U.S. continues to work with TikTok and China to close a deal. TikTok's Chinese parent company, ByteDance, had faced a Saturday deadline to sell the app to a U.S.-based buyer to prevent it from going dark nationwide.
Now that we're at each other's throats, this trade war getting hot and getting even hotter, it really does look like TikTok might be sort of a bargaining chip of sorts. And I think that the president and the White House have always seen the platform as something as a point of leverage to extract concessions out of China. China, of course, is deeply reluctant to surrender its control of the platform.
Amazon, the biggest e-commerce platform in the world, is among companies that has put in a bid to acquire TikTok. ByteDance has previously said it has no plans to sell the app. Well, it's Restaurant Week at International Marketplace in Waikiki. Casey Len tells us how you can try good food and support local businesses.
Aloha and good afternoon from Shorefire, one of 9 Grand Lanai restaurants participating in Restaurant Week. And let's not forget about our friends down on level 1, Kuhio Avenue Food Hall. I want to start with Chef Akira Fukushima with us. Tell us what we have here whipped up. This is part of your guys' Restaurant Week offerings, right?
Yes, so these are one of, or 3 of 5 menu items that I created just for the Restaurant Week to showcase all of our locally sourced ingredients. We have our garlic crusted botan ebi from Kauai. We have the snapper carpaccio, all from Big Island, and macadamia nuts from Maui. We have our mango sticky ribs. Everything on this is locally sourced. We got our fresh waipouli greens in the back from Kula. Yeah, I
want to ask you, Alan Farinas, who owns Shorefire, Skybox. I know he's like cultivated a cool atmosphere here, not only for customers, for diners, but for staff. And one of the things I think that is cool to see over the years that you guys have started breakfast offerings, nightclub even. You do it all.
Yes, we do it all. We like to be able to offer a little bit of everything for everybody, and it's a very, it can be a difficult thing to do, but I mean, like come in for breakfast, go hit the beach, and take a nap at your hotel, and then come back and we're a nightclub. It's like it's something to do. It's and it's all within the area and accessible to everybody, and I think that's a good thing to have.
Chef, thank you so much. I agree. And speaking about accessibility and trying to do things differently rather than just being kind of this destination for visitors, which we love that all of our visitors come here and are comfortable here. But you really want local people that maybe they think I don't want to deal with going to Waikiki to come down and try some of the restaurants, and this is the week to do it.
We always welcome locals. We love locals. All of our restaurants, they're really locally owned and operated. And so to be able to support our local producers, our local farmers, and see our chefs, our local young chefs shining their talent is so important for us. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and you're paying people to come down here, right, Malia Zanoni?
We are. So during Restaurant Week, when you spend $250 or more at our restaurant, you can redeem for a $20 gift certificate.
Very good. And I want to put up on the screen really quickly all of those participating Grand Lanai restaurants. And then again, we had Kuhio Avenue Food Hall on. Chef Mario Lopez was with us and whipped up some empanadas, some chili relleno. Delicious. We want to mahalo him. But we also want to talk about, and not every single restaurant's participating in the Kids Eat Free, but pretty much most of them are. Yeah, tell me about Kids Eat Free on Tuesday.
So with 2 paying adults, Keiki Eat Free, and that's another reason why you should come down and enjoy, because it's a great way to have the family enjoy something on a Tuesday night.
And get a deal, because say you have 4 kids, that adds up, even the kids menu. So Malia Zanoni from International Marketplace. Chef, thank you so much. We mahalo you for whipping this up. Although again, you guys are rocking and rolling early in the morning anyway. So yeah, thank you for being here. Again, if you missed any of those details, the Kids Eat Free, $250 spent gets you a $20 gift card. If you missed any of that and you want to learn more about Restaurant Week here at International Marketplace, head to HawaiiNewsNow.com. We'll send things back into the studio for now.
Thank you so much, Case. Well, it's almost that time of year. Preparations are already underway for the Shinyo Lantern Floating Ceremony on Memorial Day. Community volunteers and temple practitioners will begin assembling the wooden lanterns this Sunday at the Shinyo in Hawaii Temple. The candle-lit lanterns will be released from canoes at Ala Moana Beach Park in remembrance of loved ones. Tens of thousands of people gather for the event each year. Well, we made it to Aloha Friday, you guys. Here's a look at your first alert 7-day forecast. You can see a little bit of clouds there this weekend, but it is going to be really nice heading into next week as well. Guy's going to have your full forecast in 2 minutes.
First Alert Weather with Drew Davis.
How's it on this Aloha Friday? There's a cold front that has come over the state. It's not going to bring a whole lot of rain, not a big rainmaker. However, Kauai and Oahu likely to see more scattered showers through the weekend, mainly Windward and Mauka. And that's just what we have this morning. Mainly for Oahu, Kauai going to get some of these scattered showers, and they're very spotty, so it's not going to be a big rainmaker. And plus, these winds will be picking up speed, so whatever rain comes in will be moving out quickly. Plus, too, the better thing is the air quality should get a lot better by this afternoon as those winds pick up speed. And now that we know the winds are going to come and be strong, they're going to be strong like this probably for the next several days. So fog will not be an issue. As far as the surf, watch out. We got a rising swell for north and west shores. This is going to be a big one, just near advisory levels. But an even bigger swell is due in probably starting tomorrow. That swell over the weekend could trigger a high surf warning. So still a little hazy today as those winds are slow in picking up. But as they pick up, the air quality should get better. And once the winds are established, looks like they'll be running firm all the way into next week. So there's still a chance for a few more clouds, a few more showers from that weak front over the weekend. Again, not a big rain producer. Much drier conditions, much sunnier conditions expected on Monday.
Thank you, Guy. Still to come, we'll take you to the National Zoo where it's feeding time for those popular pandas, how the team there harvests all that bamboo in 2 minutes. Some good news now. It's an exciting day for kindergartners at Queen Ka'ahumanu Elementary School today. 24 pedal-to-conversion bikes are being presented to the school. HDR Foundation is donating the bikes as part of a $324,000 grant to cover the cost for the students to learn how to bike in school. Helmets, curriculum, and other necessary gear are also included. Well, keeping 2 giant pandas well-fed is no small task. The new residents at the National Zoo, Bao Ling and Cheng Bao, eat a lot of bamboo, up to 100 pounds a day. Photojournalist Parrish Smith gives us an up-close look at what it takes to harvest all that panda food.
Pandas cannot survive without bamboo. That is in their native habitat. That is any place where you find them in a zoo or in managed care. Giant pandas are obligate for bamboo. Pandas have evolved with bamboo as their main diet ingredient. And so even though their GI tract is set up like a carnivore, they have evolved to eat bamboo. When they're free ranging, bamboo is 98%, 99% of their entire diet.
We gather different amounts for the giant pandas in DC. Right now we're gathering piece count, which is the individual amount of pieces of bamboo that we need for the next couple of days.
Bamboo is a grass like we're standing on, except it has a more well-developed stem or culm, the thick part of the bamboo at the bottom. Pandas will change their preferences throughout the year for the leafy part or the hard stem part.
When we go and cut for pandas, this is literally, we're making their food more or less, and we bring it back to them.
When we trim down the pieces, it makes it more manageable for the animals that are at the zoo.
Bamboo doesn't have a lot of nutrients or energy in it, so it's relatively low protein, but one of the things that it does have a lot of is fiber. They're eating a highly fibrous plant and extracting relatively little from it. So the way that they make a living is just by volume. That's the reason why we're feeding them so much.
Usually when it gets pretty full, we'll get on top and tamp it down so that we can fit more on. And
Bao Li and Qing Bao, from a nutrition standpoint, obviously we just want to make sure that they eat. If we get nutrition right, it spares so many other resources to do things. Nutrition is one of those few things that touches every single animal every day. So if we get nutrition right, then veterinary care becomes easier.
Thanks for watching. This is Now. Happy Aloha Friday. More news first at 4 right here on K-Channel.